This is Momster Monday, where you tame the beast and regain your peace. Hi, I'm Christy, and this is Momster Monday. Last week, we talked about having the summer you want, planning for it, instead of getting stuck in the summer you have to have, and being stuck in Momster mode. Ew. We talked about mapping out your summer using my Summer at a Glance calendar, and if you didn't get yours last week, feel free to comment summer or send me a message with the word summer, and I'll be sure to send that to you right away. Anyway, the idea was to map out the whole summer so you can see where you're already committed to things, and then map out the rest of the weeks with purpose, strategy, and meaning. This is setting an intentional pace and rhythm for your summer so you stay on the straight and narrow. You don't want to fall into the ditch of too much or slip into the ditch over here of not enough. Being too busy or too bored is going to put you in Momster mode. You know, I used to be a schedule fanatic, super rigid in my schedules. I would make spreadsheets for even our vacations. I just liked having a plan. But I would go from that to absolute utter chaos on the other side, swinging back and forth pretty much all year long, but especially in the summer. Too much, and then being so burnt out that I would just have nothing going on and would be absolutely exhausted and bored. The idea is to set a rhythm and a pace with intention so that you don't swing back and forth all summer long, because that will, for sure, put you in Momster mode. Now, I love alliteration almost as much as I love planning, but I love Diet Coke the most. Anyhow, so this one summer, I found this great outline of ways to plan intentional days with different activities that considered creativity, rest, fun, adventure, and education, and met my need for planning and my desire for alliteration and catchy phrases. I implemented that several summers in a row, and it just made everything so much better for all of us. So here's what I did, and then I'll give you some alternatives too to help kind of get your creative juices flowing. Remember, these are just ideas and suggestions. You do what works best for your family, and maybe you'll come up with a super cool idea. If you do, could you share it with us? We'd love to hear it. So our weeks would start with Make It Monday. And that was typically a day that we did some sort of craft or art project. Sometimes it was making cookies or making lemonade or sun catchers. This one year we made these really cool sun catcher spinny things for our trees out of old water bottles, and we colored them and hung them in the trees to help keep the deer away from our baby trees. So that was Mondays, Make It Mondays. Tuesdays were Take a Trip Tuesday. This was so much fun. The first year I did this happened to be the summer around Adam's 4th grade year. So we were looking at North Dakota history, and so I planned trips to all these little historical sites and points of interest around the state, and we would take a little field trip. Sometimes it was just us, sometimes my parents went along, occasionally Scott was able to join us, and once in a while our friends went too. We went all over the state just on little day trips on Take a Trip Tuesday. Then Wednesday was Wet and Wild Wednesday. Now, this didn't mean that Wednesday was the only day we got in the pool, but Wednesdays were all about water. Some days it was just running through the sprinklers. Other days it was a slip and slide. By the way, those can hurt. Other times we would go to the river or up to the lake or maybe out to a community pool with friends. Wednesdays were all about getting wet. So that's Wet and Wild Wednesday. Then we had Thinking Thursday. This was the day that we went to the library. Thursdays were already our library day during the school year, so we just continued it on through the summer. So that would be the day that the kids would turn in their reading logs, get new books for the week, Maybe we would sit and even read at the library, but it was all about thinking. And pretty much the only activity we did that day was reading and going to the library. That was Thinking Thursday. Then Friday was always fun. Friday was Fun with Friends Friday. And that was the day that we would spend the afternoon or sometimes the morning hanging out with friends, doing whatever fun activity we could come up with. Sometimes it was rummage sales. Sometimes it was just a play date at somebody's house. Other times it was meeting at the Heritage Center or a park, or even the amusement park. Whatever fun we could come up with friends, that's what we did on Fridays. Saturdays and Sundays, I didn't have any sort of plan because that's typically family time, and we were either camping or doing chores or just hanging out with Dad. Now, some of these might not sound like fun to you, so I came up with a few other alternatives for the days of the week to see if we can maybe find something that would work for you and establish a nice rhythm. So for Mondays, you could have Moving Monday, where you focus all on physical activity, or Musical Monday. Maybe it's all about playing instruments, making instruments, going to hear music, or just listening to music. This is a really easy way to expose your children to composers or different styles of music, or just get them having fun in a musical way. Or if you're a more practical person, maybe you want it to be Meal Prep Monday. Having your kids help you with meal prep is really a great learning opportunity for them. It helps you, and it teaches them how to do their own meal prep. For Tuesdays, we used to do Tea Time Tuesday. Usually that was during the school year when we were homeschooling, but Tea Time Tuesday would be super fun in the summer. You could either get fancy teacups, the kids love that, even the boys, or just some paper cups and sit and have tea. You could listen to music or read poetry at the time, or just have a picnic tea time outside. Tea Time Tuesday. There would also be Tourist Tuesday, where maybe instead of taking a trip outside of your town, you stay in your town and you go do touristy things. So in Bismarck, that would be like the Lewis and Clark Riverboat, or the Heritage Center, or the zoo, Gateway to Science, the state capitol. Be a tourist on Tuesday. Or if the weather isn't cooperating, or maybe you just don't feel like going out of the house that day, you can go on all kinds of virtual field trips right online, or plan a pretend vacation. I love doing that. The other ideas are Teaching Tuesday. So on Tuesdays, each of your children and yourself pick something to teach to everybody else. Maybe you have a kid who loves insects. Let him teach that to the rest of the family. Or maybe you want to teach them how to sew or crochet or even swim. Save it for Teaching Tuesday. Why not? Then on Wednesdays, you could have Wonder Wednesday. That would be a great day to go to like Gateway to Science, or do some science experiments in the yard, or ask questions, like play 20 questions. That would be a lot of fun. Plus it gives the kids a reason to ask you questions, and maybe it'll be a little less irritating. You could also do Whatever Wednesday. Wednesday could be your free day, where you don't make any hard and fast plans or have a theme. It's just whatever comes to mind that day. Or if you're nature lovers, it could be Wilderness Wednesday, when you go on a nature walk, or just go exploring, or just sit out in nature and watch the world go by. Then on Thursdays, you could do Thoughtful Thursday. That could be a day where you actually contribute something to the neighborhood or to your community, being thoughtful and kind. Maybe it's taking cookies to a neighbor, picking up the newspapers for an elderly neighbor, mowing the lawn for somebody, passing out kindness rocks in a park, something that is outreach and urges your child on to community service. Or Theater Thursday. Usually by Thursday, we're all pretty worn out. It might be a great day to go catch a matinee. Or if you've got a local playhouse in your town, maybe there's a matinee of a play you could go see. You could even stretch it out and get some boxes and make little cars and have a drive-in theater right there at your house with your big screen, or just a sheet hanging on the wall. Lastly, Fridays. Besides Fun with Friends Friday, you could do Family Fun Day, where you just focus on doing stuff together as a family, just however many there are of you. Maybe dad even has the afternoon off if he's doing shift work. Or with extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandpas, and grandpas. It would be a lot of fun to have Family Fun Friday. Or if you're foodies like my family is, you could have Foodie Friday. And that could be the day where you maybe go to an unusual market, like the Asian market, and you pick out foods that you've never had before. Or you cook foods that are unusual or from other parts of the world on Fridays for Foodie Friday. Hey, look, these are just ideas, but they really helped me stay out of momster mode because they were creative, they were different, and they required intention. Now, the important thing is to not overschedule yourself, to not book things in, or to feel like these ideas are hard and fast rules. Maybe you don't want to do this every week. Maybe you just want to do it once in a while. That's totally up to you. You do not have to do everything I say. I just want to encourage you to think outside of the box so that you don't get caught in the momster cage. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday for Momster Monday.